Hey, greetings. So, week 2 after chemo is in the books, heading into week 3. And this week on the Journey Cancer Update, I thought I'd tie in how I see the parallels of my journey with cancer and sales enablement, which seem to be completely unrelated. But if you bear with me, this is really going to be somewhat interesting if you're in this space, and if you're not, it's going to be extremely boring. So, updates on my health started off the week. And this is a week where the white blood cells are depleting, and mentally and physically. Mentally, Monday, Tuesday, I was around a 4. I could think of things, I could get on calls, but I couldn't really process lots of new information. Wednesday, Thursday, that started getting better, and today I feel pretty much back to normal. So I'm looking forward to the week, and I get to go back into the office on Tuesday. Physically, I've been like one or two steps ahead of mentally. So that was a surprise. I thought when they said chemo fog, I wasn't expecting the actual results. So lessons learned, the physically wise, no nausea. The numbness in the fingers and the hands and the tongue and stuff, that kind of comes and goes. And right now it's dissipating. So that's good. And the fatigue, is manageable. I was doing 10,000, 15,000 steps, so nothing too bad. I did try to run a little bit, and I made probably the length of a football field, and I was pretty much out of breath, but I hate running anyway, so it could be just I don't run. Either way, so back to how my journey in sales enablement tie together. In our space, in the adult learning space, there's 4 stages of learning. It's your unconsciously incompetent, then you're consciously incompetent. You get to being you're consciously competent, or let's start that over. And if I was going to do a cut, I'd say like cut, restart. So there's 4 stages of learning. It goes unconscious incompetent, conscious incompetent, conscious competent, unconscious incompetence. So anyways, basically, you don't even know what you don't know. Now you know what you don't know, but you really don't know it. Then you have to think about what you know, and then finally get to not even thinking about it, you just know it. So I'm in a stage 1 to 2. I started off with this journey with, I was unconsciously incompetent about everything, from diet to exercise to what to expect, to my kind of treatment, what the results are. If I'm not successful in this first treatment, what happens in the next treatments, etc. So along with those 4 stages, I can talk about how I process different things. For example, this week, I was a 1 with unconsciously incompetent about the knowledge of how to be a good patient. So it occurred to me as I'm sitting there one night thinking, I'm kind of being a jerk to some of my loved ones and stuff, so why is that? So I just had to think about that, and basically I never really realized that I really have to think about, how do I want to be a patient and how do I want to be a good patient? So my original thought was, I will just do everything as I had done before, and I'm just not going to rely on other people, and therefore I'm a good patient. And that actually causes more tension than it does. So then I sat back and like, different people want to help in different ways, and if I can figure out how they want to help me, I can then plug into that. It's in their natural instincts, and then we won't have irritations. Like if you're taking someone who hates running errands, if you're going to do a target run and a Hy-Vee run or something, you'll make those all together, do the order ahead or whatever. Just make it as convenient as possible, or better yet, go to somebody who doesn't like to talk about how things are going or help you with your health, but they'd love to spend a little time running around the town and getting stuff for you. So that's one thing I learned. I was unconsciously incompetent. Now I'm consciously incompetent, and I'll figure out how to move forward. Another area where I was consciously incompetent and moving into the conscious competency is with my meal prep, and that's back to this daily eating well through cancer. I had a meeting with the dietitian, and it boiled down to 3 things: inclusive, so eat everything. Don't restrict your diet. The biggest things I have to do now, and it shows in my blood work, is to maintain my protein levels. So don't try the Mediterranean diet. Don't do keto diet. Don't just eat food. And then the second thing is enhance those choices. So if you're eating eggs and a couple pieces of bacon, you know, obviously do the uncured bacon, but whatever, you know, add avocado. So add good fats, add proteins, and then target macros. So it's be inclusive in your diet, enhance it with good proteins and fats, and then target my macros. For my macros, she broke it down to basically 25% protein, 30% fat, 45 carbs, breaks down to 1 to 125 grams of protein, 90 grams fat, and then the rest carbs. On a 2,300 to 2,500 calorie diet, that's to maintain. So on my workout days, I'll actually have to increase that, obviously, increase the protein up and the fat up on those days. So we got those 4 stages of learning, and you can kind of see my progression through those as I just plan this out. So then you take a look at, well, what is a common reoccurring process of how people learn, or how you approach a huge knowledge gap like that. And just a quick online search, and it's basically identify strengths and weaknesses, review goals and objectives. Oh, let's go back to identify strengths and weaknesses. One of the things I had to do was understand my learning style. I learn best from stories, from videos, from having conversations with other people, not necessarily from reading facts and figures. I want to hear the story behind what's occurring, then I remember the facts. So those are the kind of resources I have to look towards. So not so much just educating me on how everything works, but give me an example, back it up with the science behind it, explain why it works that way. That's how I review best. Review your goals and objectives. You know, I'm setting them out by week. You know, my goal for next week is I want to plug in and get a therapist appointment at least. You know, somebody who focuses on ADD and cancer and kind of dealing with what I'm trying to deal and maybe help me map things out so I don't have to do self-discovery on everything. My exercise routine, I'm going into next week thinking, you know, I'm not sure how I'm physically gonna be feeling every morning. So if I can set a time, 7 to 7:30, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, to try and focus on strength so I don't lose any of my muscle mass that it took forever to gain. And I've already started losing it. Like these shirts, this went from extra large and down to a medium right now. And might fit a little bit loose, but it was a lot looser, you know, a month ago, is to do the exercise. So on those days, I will get up with the idea of doing, you know, TRX or planks and stuff like that, and have a map. But I'll also have a pivot option. If I'm not feeling well, I'll switch over to a stretch or a yoga or something else. So I'll have that in plan. So that's like setting your goals and objectives. Reward accomplishments. You know, it's important on a journey like this. It's going to be a long ass time. And I think some of my family members are like, why are you know, internally, they've been questioning, like, why are you doing these videos? Why are you saying, hey, you know what? You're going to get a tattoo at the end. Why are you going to try and do something in between, you know, session 3 and session 4, kind of that big thing. So, oh, by the way, between halfway point, my daughter invited me to do a road trip down to Nevada. She's moving from Minnesota down to Nevada. So that's just before my 4th treatment. We're going to do a road trip, probably spend a couple days in Colorado, maybe a night in Vegas, and then fly home. So I love road trips, love hanging out with my kids. And when can you get 29, 30-year-old, one of your kids, to sit down with you for 22 hours? It's going to be way too much time for her, but we'll find a way to pass the time, maybe record a few dad jokes along the way. So set those rewards and accomplishments. So yeah, like halfway through, I got a mini adventure. I think before my 6th treatment, I'm going to try and do stand-up routine. So I'm going to do a little research beforehand, do 3 minutes up on stage. And I think the material I'll have is pretty good, but it all comes down to interacting, playing with the audience. So I expect to fail horribly. At the end of the session, when everything's said and done, told the family I would jump on a plane with them. So we'll do that, tandem. And then final upon final, 2 to 3 weeks, when everything's said and done, probably looking at January timeframe, 2 to 3 weeks in Costa Rica. Of course, kickoffs in February, so I'll have to work that into the whole schedule. So maybe it'll be March, but that's going to be the big one. And I'm going to do like a surf and yoga camp. And I don't know yoga, by the way. I know I should know yoga, and I know it's really good for you. So that's why I'm going to take this, next 9 months to learn it. So you reward your accomplishment, you talk to others. I do have to plug into that, get into some groups and just see how other people are dealing with it. Because I expect the fatigue is going to get increasingly more difficult as this continues. So far, so good. And again, really looking forward to getting back to work for a full week next week with mentally and physically there and getting back into the gym. So you talk to others, you reflect, you practice and reflect back. I'm pretty good at self-reflection. I do that quite often. And that's why I learned things like, hey, you know what? I might not be the greatest patient. I better plug in and figure that out. Now, I could have read a book, or I could have looked at a checklist and said, here are the things you're going to go through and things you should think about. But it really went to, for somebody with me with ADD, extrovert, you learn best by running your head into a wall. And literally, when I was a kid, back when we had the families, the traditional family before the divorce and stuff, I got a football helmet for as a gift for birthday or Christmas or something. And then my dad said the next thing he saw me was running into a tree headlong, just backing up, running into a tree, backing up, running into a tree. So sometimes people with ADD learn a little differently than the rest of the world, and it's a good thing that not everyone has to go through those extremes to learn a lesson, but some of us do. So just recap that. There's 4 levels of learning: unconscious incompetence to unconscious competence. So you're not even thinking about it, you just know it, you're just dealing with it. And that's how we train sales reps. We kind of walk through that whole process and when you're onboarding, etc. And again, back to that standard process, is strengths and weaknesses, is setting your goals, reviewing your goals, is setting those milestones and making your rewards, is talking to others, is practicing, and then that last one. And that's where really these videos come in, is teach back. And that's where, these videos just are a natural tie-in for my day-to-day life, because I'm always thinking about identify a problem, find the example of good, bridge that gap. It could be in sales process, it could be in the sales job artifacts, could be business cases we're working on, could be in training. It doesn't, basically my job is all about sales performance. So making sure the customers, we're finding the right customers, giving them the right solution, we're maximizing the value there, and we benefit from it as well. So that's my job, and I'm just approaching the journey, the cancer journey thing. And by the way, what I'm cooking is Father's Day morning, just as I sign off, I am making a lemon angel food cake. So you basically take an angel food cake, prepackaged, and then you cook that with some lemon extract. And the rest of the ingredients are a package of vanilla pudding mix, container of non-fat lemon yogurt, container of fat-free frozen whipped topping, and you mix all that up and it becomes a glaze. But what happens at the end of this is you have, and what's really cool in this book is there's the recipes, and then across the top is the category. So in this case, my lemon angel food cake is it's good for the day of chemotherapy, it's good for the numbness, it's good for sore throat and mouth. My mouth, I have had dry mouth a lot, and luckily I haven't gotten sores yet, but that could be one of those accumulated effects where it starts hitting cycle 2, cycle 3, cycle 4. It's good for snack-like meals. It's healthy eating post-treatment, and it's high in calories and high in protein. 2 things I need to do. So until next time.